Welcome back to Franchise. This is your boy, Eddie.
Yo, welcome back. It's Jay. Thank you for listening again another week.
And I appreciate you guys having me. My name is Abel.
So, dude, this is so exciting, man. I've been waiting to bring Abel on the podcast for such a long time.
Been a long
Super
time.
exciting to have Abel on the podcast.
So, if you guys don't know, I'm gonna let Abel introduce himself. Abel, just say a little bit about yourself. So, let's start off with a question. Who are you?
Good question. So I would say I'm just a young kid from Westchester, right? I think I was born with a lot of ambition, and I think that's where it's taken me to this day. I would say naturally I wasn't good at a lot of things, and then I just through sheer effort worked hard. I have a really high position in a marketing firm. I deal with lots of really wealthy people, and then also I'm still a kid from Westchester who I'm still trying to go through the motions. So in a nutshell, that's basically who I am.
That's awesome, man. So, humble beginnings, and now you're having some success in life.
Little bit.
So let's start off with some conversation, Jay.
And on top of it all, my fucking boy.
My
Yeah.
boy.
Seriously. First
I
off, man,
appreciate it.
First off, this is one of our dearest friends, and we're really glad to have him on again. I want to start off with the conversation. Let's go back a couple years.
Let's do
Who
it.
was Abel before getting out of college? What would you describe yourself as? For the
I
people
would
that are
say,
listening?
honestly, I was so entranced in living in really superficial reality where I genuinely cared so much about what other people thought of me. And it's such an ironic thought process because you care so much, you almost turn people off from you. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy in my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the less you are of yourself, the less people actually like you. But then you don't think wait, if I just am fully, truly myself, people will love that a lot more than if you're no, I am cool as fuck because I don't know, whatever, on some false premise. So I don't know how I got there, but essentially I was just somebody who was super insecure at the time
Right.
and just trying to find out not only who I was, but what I wanted to do. And I think part of it was I didn't have a lot of direction as far as where I wanted to go. So then I didn't even know where my personality would have eventually shaped and evolved to. You know what I mean?
Holy shit. That's really woke. No, but it's really true.
Yeah.
I think I've had experiences with a massive amount of insecurity and self doubt and
For sure.
people pleasing and
Oh my
not
God.
being able to say no to nobody, and
Mhm.
you kind of go through life in that direction. Well, how was that realization brought upon you? What made you realize that?
Honestly, I made friends with you guys. It was pretty dope.
No,
I swear to God, it was dope. It was cool. I was
Abel was super outgoing, growing up as well, because
Yeah.
I went to school with Abel. So
uh,
Abel, we used to call him Apple back in the day. It was
I
just,
forgot
it was
about that
just
name.
amazing.
fun fact. So Jay and I went to middle school together, right? And in high school we drifted, whatever, and then towards the end of my college career, Jay just kind of came back, and it's kind of insane that we went to the same middle school and then we crossed paths again. So it was pretty dope. Jay, don't let him fool you. Played 0 games in both middle school and high school. 0 games.
I don't know about that. What do you mean about zero?
Yeah, tell me,
Zero, bro.
tell me what you mean about that.
Bro, 0 games. First of all, nicest guy I've ever met. But if you crossed him,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Jay's
0.
on that. Jay's
Oh.
on that.
0 games.
I feel like everyone's like that though. I'm not
Fair enough.
unique.
I don't know.
that
There's a lot of
regard.
people that I feel are kind of
Thank you.
You'll cross me and I'll kind of stay quiet. I don't want confrontation. I'm not willing to say no or put myself out there and not be liked by somebody. So I feel like that's dope. That's Jay's been consistent his whole life.
Consistent. That's for sure.
I appreciate that. But I guess since we're on the whole topic of I guess trust and not liking one the disrespect or whatever, you mentioned a moment about how you project yourself.
Why do I have a
others.
feeling? Sorry to interrupt. Why do I have a feeling Abel saw Jay fuck somebody up? Why do I have the feeling that that's what we're talking about here?
All I'm saying is that it wasn't just one person. That's all I will say.
I don't even remember some of these stories. Abel has some of the craziest stories about
The
me.
thing is that they're all real. I saw firsthand. Can I say it?
Yeah, I mean you can say whatever you want.
All right.
This is your podcast.
Yeah,
All right, all right.
exactly. This is my
Yeah, this-
podcast, which in a part is your podcast too.
So I appreciate that. All right. So I'll never forget 6th grade. We're in geography class. I won't even say his name. We'll give him an alias. Let's just say let's just call this guy Tony, right? So Tony in this story was being loud as fuck, causing a ruckus, just being that annoying kid who's trying to be funny all the time. You're like, dude, like
Annoying
let's just
as
move
fuck.
on,
Yeah.
right? Like let the teacher talk so we can like leave. And then Tony just kept causing a ruckus, and then Jay's like, yo, sit down. And then Tony's like at this moment he got challenged. He's like, wait, so do I keep this persona or am I telling this kid off? Of course, Tony chose the wrong side, and he's like, well, fuck you, Jay. And then Jay's like, huh? He's like, all right, I'll catch you outside. That's it. Few words were exchanged in that moment, but many actions were to follow. So after that, the bell rings. I see Jay zips his book bag up and just bolts to the spell out area essentially. And this guy Tony is like, oh fuck. He's like for sure waiting for me. This guy is already waiting for him. He's just like arms up. He's like puts his book back down without even a second of human communication, just on site, and boom, decks him straight in the face. This guy like stumbles, surprised. He's like, dude, how did he like zero doubt in your mind that's exactly what you were gonna do? I can even tell from your eyes. And also, to be fair, at the time, Jay was kind of chubby. So Jay,
I've been chubby my whole life.
you look good. Don't even lie.
you look good.
That's
Nah,
Don't
just-
even
okay.
lie.
You've been
Nah,
kind of
nah,
gorilla pumping it around.
But
Nah,
we're
nah,
sixth
nah.
grade. Who looked good in sixth grade?
Yeah, I look like shit in sixth grade.
A
Come
couple
on.
people look good in 6th grade. What do you mean?
Nobody.
I could
Really?
recall a couple people in my sixth grade that looked
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Really?
I was not that guy though.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't the
I was not the guy.
I was not the
I
one
feel
looking good. But I
Yeah, yeah.
remember a couple motherfuckers and being like, damn, I need to get on that level.
I
Yeah.
feel you. All right. It's
Some people had
very
abs
rare.
in sixth grade.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
what I'm
fucked.
saying.
You see,
Exactly.
that's not right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
I had a boy. His name was Jesus. Same name as me. And he had abs. I've never had abs in my life.
Me neither. Kind of fucked.
That's what I'm saying.
So
I
Jay
feel
just beat
that
this guy's
motherfucker look
ass.
good.
Dude, so he like decked him in the face. This guy stumbles, and they have to pry Jay off of this guy. And Tony, I want you to know, ever since then, never spoke in that class ever again.
I bet we got out on time every single day from
Dude,
there on.
holy shit.
You know, my mom, not my
That's
mom,
crazy.
but my dad always has this saying, like every time there's like someone acting up like that or whatever, that he always goes, "Oh, he hasn't gotten his ass beat yet. That's why." Like anyone that's
You
always,
think that's what it is?
I
did
believe
Tony
it.
ever talk again?
No, you're right.
Whoa,
Probably
he got his
never
ass
ever again.
beat.
True.
And you know, it's funny enough, and I'm just gonna add on to the story. I've seen Jay literally beat somebody into a bush.
I believe.
Wow, this is crazy.
I've seen
all,
Jay-
all of these.
We're airing out Jay's dirty laundry. Hey guys,
Yeah.
we're hiring this motherfucker.
Yeah, for
Better
real.
Look, take a look. No, but it was so it was self-defense shit and it was disrespect. So Jay, told him, "Yo, what's up?
You gotta do
All
what you
right.
gotta do.
Took him into
feel
like
you.
this forest area and they just decked it out. This Jay beat his ass and this guy stumbled into the bush and Jay came out and said, "Get the fuck out of the bush. Get the fuck out of the
You gave him the
bush."
brown too.
Yeah, the courtesy.
He said he didn't want to beat his ass in the bush. But you see, the thing is that what I like about Jay is he's doesn't
Not an
tolerate
instigator.
disrespect.
And not an instigator. He's not out here
Yeah,
looking
he's
for
not
fights.
trying to start.
Oh no, I'm never.
He's just the one that finishes them.
I like very little stress. That's
Yep.
that's the thing. I like very little stress.
I feel that.
And at least in my opinion, when you have to fight, I feel like things are going wrong in some point. That's why I'm like almost like these things, these stories you guys tell me. Obviously, I remember some of them.
He's like,
But
He's
goddamn,
like,
I don't know.
beat a guy's
stop
ass.
it.
I don't know.
Stop.
It is what it is.
Fuck, how did we even get here? Well, Jay, you were talking about something. I completely interrupted. You were talking about trust.
Oh, how they call
Trust.
me Apple.
Oh yeah, well yeah, we used to call you Apple back in the day, but not even that. But like you mentioned something about just like projecting onto others and
Yeah.
shit, and like, do you feel like you have to move in silence almost?
I think you have to move with the trusted circle for sure. And even still, it like depends because moving in silence is really helpful depending on like what your personality type is, right?
Right.
So if like you're somebody who is extremely self-driven and
Yeah.
you know that you have a good amount of friends like around you, then there's almost no need to be like, hey guys, this is exactly what I'm doing, right? Because then you don't have to project your confidence to somebody else. Like it should just like exude into who you are, kind of
Right.
thing, right? But moving silence at the like contrary of that is also really important because there's a lot of things where if you aren't completely sure that that's exactly what you want to do,
Yeah.
you don't want to be that person who loses their word. And at the end of the day, that's like all you have.
Yeah.
So if it's like, hey, I'm going to go do this thing and then you don't do it, like, why should I take you seriously for the second, third, fourth, fifth time around?
Yeah.
So,
Which is, I think that's the value of no.
Right.
That I think a lot of people have a misconception of like someone being truthful and telling them no, I can't do this,
Mhm.
or telling them the truth in general. The truth is to be perceived. If I'm being honest with you and as a friend I tell you no, I can't do this,
Right.
and it's the truth, then it is what it is. At
Right.
the end of the day, the value of the word is what's most important, because
For
you know
sure.
when I say yes, it's gonna come through.
Right.
Do you feel like that, like you've learned over time? Do you feel like it's a lot of like trial and error when it comes to like your circle now? Do you feel like you have a circle around you that is that what Jay's talking about, like this self-driven thing, that you have a quiet circle around you and now you're ambitious and you feel like in the next couple of years you're gonna strive to what you want?
100%. And I would say the circle, like basically like our group of friends, is the most helpful during like the hard times.
Yeah.
Like 100%, like having the safety net to fall on is what I think like stops a lot of people from moving forward. Like either those words of encouragement or the words of like, dude, you're like sitting on your ass all day. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like I feel like not enough people go that route. Like, oh, you have big dreams, but you're not like doing anything. Like you just binge watch an entire show. So it's
Holding people accountable.
right. That's like the biggest thing, which I feel like a lot of friends don't do for each other, which is the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Part of friendship.
Right.
There's been a lot of moments that you've held me accountable, actually.
Oh my God, for sure.
Yeah.
Bro, one of the like reasons I'm so enamored with you, right, is because like I've always told you, yo, you're my boy and you're a partner.
Thank you.
That's so crazy. Like,
Yeah,
you had
to think about.
you said you were like a like you worked for like a pretty big like marketing company. Like, tell me a little bit more about that, because I feel like we've never really had like that conversation. So I kind of like want to know a little bit more. Like,
Got it.
curiously.
Yeah. So basically, I got started. The name of the company is TFC Marketing. We specialize in digital marketing. What I would say more is we sell results, right? So if you want more customers, you want more listeners, you want more leads for your business, whatever it is, we sell those results to you, and we use digital marketing as a vehicle to get those results. Is the best way I can describe it. How I got here is, or I got to that position is, I first started almost 3 years ago at the recording of this podcast. And my first job, or my foot in, was I was basically doing customer service. So it was phone calls, live chats, emails, essentially customer service. And I just knew that there was something to be done here. Like there was a position of growth to be had, but I knew there was going to be like blood, sweat, and tears, like in between every single one of those steps. So it just became a matter of like learning, working really fucking hard, and then a lot of sacrifices. So I had a really big social life at the time. I would go out all the time. I had like a bunch of friends, and it's not that they even drifted away. It's just I no longer went out, so we just didn't see each other as much. And after you don't talk to somebody for like a year, you stop being on their like invite list, I would say.
Yeah.
Right?
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And like I said, no bad blood at all. It just like kind of the natural progression of things. And that was something interesting that I had to get adjusted to. Because now it's like Saturday, even though I'm not down to go, it was interesting to be invited to those things and see how that went. And then perseverance is like a big one too, for sure. Shit gets super fucking hard, and I think anybody who even reaches some level of success, and I think I still have a long way to go too. I'm still like in my mind in the journey of it. It gets really hard, and the person who can persevere through all those, like Elon Musk, is a hero of mine.
Yeah.
He's gone through some shit.
He really has. I feel like there's a lot to be like. He's just a beautiful person. Like,
Oh my
there's a
God.
lot to be learned from him.
For sure. And
Even though some of his shit is bullshit, though. I won't.
oh
Yeah,
no
yeah,
way.
yeah.
You see,
He's
we
great, but
can't.
He's not that.
No, you see,
What
this is
always
the
said
thing
that.
about Jay.
I need to know.
All right, Abel. So let me explain to you something.
Talk to me.
Jay loves Elon up until Elon starts talking about, oh yeah, we're going to Mars.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, but put a motherfucker up there.
Yeah, yeah,
And you
yeah.
see, I don't understand why Jay wants this guy to say, hey, I'm going to put somebody on Mars. I want to do it the day of tomorrow. Like, he's like, no, but show me something.
Wait, but what's the beef?
There's no beef. My
Yeah,
whole,
that's what I'm saying.
this is my whole thing when it comes to him, right? And this is like anyone that aspires to do the things that Elon does, right? If we're just grading him like on a regular like person scale, right? Like, the casual man, then
Okay.
no, he's
He's like godly, right?
yeah, he's exactly God. He's a deity, right?
right.
If I'm putting him on the scale of putting a motherfucker on Mars, and you've put 0 motherfuckers on Mars, what am I supposed to grade you as?
All right, but to be fair, right?
Yeah.
This fucking skeptical.
Nobody else in the planet is even as close as he is now,
Yeah.
right? And nobody else on the planet was able to privatize space travel, which is like one of the biggest steps. Also, like when they're like, "Oh, it's not rocket science," but like literally, though.
it's rocket science.
Like literally, though, it's like literally right. And he taught himself. He like hired people, and he's like, "Dude, how do you do this shit?" And they're like, "But I don't know." The best of the best,
No, I get that, but that's why I said, as like the casual common man, you know what I mean?
I feel you.
As like just Homo sapien shit, you know what I mean? No, he's the creme de la creme.
Jay, this guy is
But
putting rockets into
I don't
space,
know.
and they're landing back in the exact place that they launched off of.
No, amazing.
But they're not on Mars
I can
yet.
barely tell you how this light bulb
human
turns
that
on.
can do it. What happened?
I can barely tell you this light bulb turns on.
No, I can't tell you how it turns on. Besides, if you show me where the switch is.
Like, oh, the switch no longer works.
Yep.
It's broken.
And you see, that's why I have so much respect, dude. And just to say a little bit about Elon, because I think all three of us have a level of admiration for Elon's not only work ethic but how he climbed. He didn't start off
Super
with
rich.
money and
Right.
stuff like this. Like he was working in Canada. He went to Canada to be with his uncle. Found out he couldn't find his uncle, so he's like, "All right, fuck, I need to stay at hostels." Like type shit.
Oh shit.
And literally looked through jobs with his brother and found the highest paying job, and it was putting coal into a furnace in a suit. This shit was hot as fuck, but it paid $20 an hour. There was 11 people that were hired. By day 2, there was only 2 left, and one of them was Elon. By the end of the week, the only person left was Elon, and he worked through that, building money so he could go ahead and start eventually what's known as like Zip2, which is like a zip file folder, with his brother years later. Like he fucking built it from the bottom up.
Fuck.
That's the American dream.
Literally.
And fuck the American dream. That's just the dream. Like having something of your own that then it's like people love this and now people give me money for this. What more can I do? And look what we have now.
And the day somebody goes to Mars, I'm calling you.
Seriously, Jay.
Like,
No, and I'm waiting for that call. You don't think I wake up every day
Hoping
for some more shit?
He's the
I
worst.
feel you.
I subscribe to the whole alien thing.
Oh, aliens are real. It's not even a question.
Thank you.
You guys
That's
really
what I'm
believe in
saying.
that?
I subscribe to the whole
Bruh.
thing for real. And
I don't believe in aliens.
You don't believe
Huh?
in aliens?
I'm
But how?
skeptical.
Like just
I'm
pure,
moving
out of pure
fucking
probability.
away from them.
Just out of pure probability.
Fine. Yes.
What do you mean? That's like the,
Yes, because I don't know, and the probability of me not knowing for a very long time, or maybe never finding the answer, I'm just gonna go with yes, because statistically speaking. But do I believe in them? Fuck, that's tough,
I believe in it, man.
there's no way, right?
dude. In our measurable
I fuck with
reality, like if you think about it, in our measurable timeline, do you think we're gonna be able to study another species, like another species, like intelligent like us? Probably not.
I think it's inevitable.
Do you think we're gonna run into
You
something?
Think about all right.
We've
if
already
you-
ran into it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's another thing. I think they've
You guys
already.
are talking about that fucking monolith that like ended up
No.
fucking nowhere. Like, come on, guys.
You can also talk about Roswell, Mexico, right? That's
Area 51 with what's his guy?
Yeah.
Like in he was in there.
And they actually, where the part that I get a little skeptical, I'm like, these motherfuckers are probably real. Because he was looking at an energy cell that was anti-gravity. But that's how it produced energy, meaning
Yeah.
you can't touch it and you can't pull it apart. And as soon as you're putting something on it, it's repulsing you. So it's anti-gravity. He said he was working on that. This guy's he went to MIT supposedly.
Mhm.
They went and looked for his records. No records of him going anywhere MIT associated. No records of him working anywhere. But he was on the phone book at the previous nuclear facility that he was working at as a physicist. So, it looks like the government expunged all his shit to ruin his credibility.
Dude.
which is terrible.
Right. And
Which
why
is-
would
yeah.
why would they do all that if the only thing they do in there is test weapons?
Right. He said he saw like a foreign species, like something alien looking, but he only saw it briefly. Because I saw the doc. Because I'm like, fuck it, I'm into this shit.
Yeah.
I saw the doc after the Joe Rogan podcast. Look, I don't believe in them because it's really hard for me to not be skeptical when it comes to something like intelligent life forms besides humans. Like, show me
Tripping.
that shit.
You're tripping.
Show
don't know,
me
bro.
it, though.
You're tripping.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I think they exist. I don't think we're going to run into them, though. I don't think we're going to
But
be
I
in
think
that.
there's no
in
way
that level.
we haven't already.
We already have.
Also, if you think of like timelines of humans, bro, we are basically still cavemen. We still kill each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I think we're fucking
We're like
Neanderthals.
barely able to like go to another planet, much less solar system.
Yeah, we can't even have a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
I know you can manipulate media, right? But you guys have, or I don't know if have you guys ever seen those pictures of like army pilots that are out in the jet and they take a picture of like some UFO like object, like
Yep.
something that you can't explain,
Right.
and reports of like these sightings and continuously happening over the years.
Right.
Look,
What do you think that is?
a picture and a video is not enough for me. I'll tell you what though. Just off of this fact, it makes me think like there's something out there. We don't even know what's in the ocean for the most part. Like the ocean is super undiscovered.
That's what I'm saying too.
And then imagine the
That's
grand
crazy.
scale of the universe, and you're telling me that, like, no way aliens, right?
No, I'm saying yes, but no. They're not. We're not gonna run into them in this timeline.
Let me ask you something, because Joey said something to me like today, ironically. Like, what if they're not within or like even the same dimension? What if they're like interdimensional beings?
You see, that's a
So
probability.
we're looking for them in this galaxy, right? But like, it's not even,
That's fucked.
aliens from this type of galaxy. You know what I mean, or this type of timeline as we're speaking.
I'm gonna tell you the way Stephen Hawking tells you. There is multiple like dimensions, so to speak. There is multiple realities. The only one we care about is a 3-dimensional reality that our lungs expand and we're able to measure. That's it. That's the only thing we care about because that's what we're measuring currently.
Interesting.
But it makes sense because it's like if the only reality we're capable of processing is this one, what other reality should we be caring about?
Have you guys heard of the Mandela effect?
Talk to me about that.
All right, so basically it's where a group, a series, or I would say a collective of people remember a specific event that never happened. For example, here's a trippy one. Do you guys remember being able to go into the Statue of Liberty? Like at the torch?
No, I never traveled like that as a kid. I never got to.
But, like,
I
do you
remember
it
being into
possible?
it. I recall being in the Statue of Liberty.
Apparently that's never been a thing.
Really?
Right.
All the way to the top?
Yep. Never.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
I went a couple of years ago.
Nope.
I think another famous one is the whole Luke and Star Wars. Have you heard of that one?
Luke, I am your father? Right.
Yeah.
But it's not like that at all.
Yeah. It's
Wait,
not,
what?
Luke, I am your father.
Right.
Tell me that's not a betrayal in your life.
No, hold on.
Yeah.
What is it then?
Something completely. Not I want to say completely different, but
It's-
it's not those words.
Right. It's not those words.
It doesn't really.
You
have
guys
to
are fucking
do-
around.
I
Yeah,
swear, you
like-
can play it right now. And same thing with Statue of Liberty. Like, you can't. That wasn't ever a thing.
You can't go all the way to the top.
Right.
Why do I feel like I did that?
Right. Welcome to it. Now, that's what people are saying a parallel universe feels like.
You see, these things fuck me
I
up.
love that.
Yeah, right?
You see, these things like get me a little like fucked because I'm still trying to understand this reality. Like I'm still trying to make sense of this one right here. Like I wrote a blog post today, right? And it's about the expanding universe. It's about physics and it's about self-identity. And I'm on that journey still.
Mm-hmm.
So how the fuck am I supposed to understand things like that?
I feel you, bro.
How the fuck am I supposed to understand things like aliens? What if they bring something to play that we actually have no fucking idea and we haven't even developed it? Because you see, knowledge, what it does is it's like Elon, right? Like you start off with the World Wide Web, you fucking build it up, now you have a battery, like you have fucking lights first. Like knowledge is progressive.
Okay.
And then you invent different things from that knowledge. Like what if they bring some like actual anti-gravity shit that we have no fucking idea of what we can
I mean,
do with?
it would be the equivalent of like dropping an iPhone 30,000 years ago. People would be like, what the fuck is like,
Exactly.
right?
So what the fuck do we do with that? They would enslave us.
We
no?
use
Basically?
it. We use it
I
for
think they
something
would be-
beautiful.
Right. I think they would be past causing other species harm. I think they
Extinction?
could just do it
Super.
themselves. Right.
Do you feel like
Yeah.
intelligence will get us there?
If we
Eventually,
don't
like
kill
we're
us, if we don't kill ourselves.
nuclear holocaust if we don't end up in that.
Right. Something like that. We might be past the nuclear holocaust though.
You think so?
I mean, for sure.
Everyone's,
like all
like,
war
waiting on
now is like
everybody.
cyber.
Yeah, actually, it is for the most part.
A
China
lot of the
and
world lives
Russia,
on there.
Right. Right.
China and Russia always attacking the elections, like always trying to steal information. You know that's fucked, man.
Yep.
Like you know how much information like is available to people.
Dude, do you know about the Library of Alexandria?
Is that the one for the Pope and everything?
No, the Library of Alexandria was the one in Egypt
Right.
that was accidentally burned down,
Dude.
and it
crazy.
had all the knowledge like available at the time in the world.
But it's kind of crazy. You can see a graph, right? And it was like you're saying, like knowledge or human knowledge, like in an exponential level, right? And we were like rising,
Yeah.
and it showed two differences. So the Library of Alexandria was burned down, I believe. Like Julius Caesar sacked Egypt and
Yeah.
then, like whatever. But the interesting thing about the Library of Alexandria was that it had like basically all the history and all the books and all the knowledge like ever. And every ship that would dock in, they would like make a copy, put it into this library. So like it had a lot of previous knowledge that we had to like essentially reinvent during the Dark Ages, which is exactly what happened once Christianity took place, and the Library of Alexandria was I don't know if Christianity or Catholic, and then we were in Dark Ages. So here's what's interesting: if you would follow that same like exponential curve of when the Library of Alexandria was never burnt down, we would have been traveled the stars right now.
Maybe.
Like literally,
just a lot of conspiracies on that.
Right, just by the laws of like exponential whatever, you literally we would already have been.
We lost so much. Even people like forgot how to draw, sing.
I
like,
believe that.
Even natural. Yeah, even natural during the Dark Ages. And we're talking about from like, it was Constantinople, the leader of Rome at the time, which switched to Christianity, which in fact, people think that like Rome fell because of X, Y, and Z. Rome fell because it was too big. It started losing its cities to barbarians and to poverty and to lack of sanitation. And then eventually the Dark Ages, what that was almost 1,000 years of the church ruling. Because the church is the only place that had knowledge after that collapse of Rome. Because Rome was too big. It took over too many places.
It was like suppressed certain like knowledge at the time.
Yep.
So like guys like Galileo was like, guys, Jupiter has like moons and shit.
Like, yeah. No. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like, we revolve around the sun, not the other way around. They're like, how fucking dare you?
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy that depending on like literally the knowledge that you have, like the information that you have is like truly what you end up believing? That's it. That just goes what that shows you. Like,
which is
nuts. Dude.
Which is why we talk about on the podcast that often
then and even now, it still works like that.
Because think about it. Like the first thing that a communistic country does to its society is kill people that are free thinkers, enslave them or put them in jail, and then change the education system
and the media.
Right. You control that. You control what everybody consumes, and if everybody consumes the same thing, then who
They'll
the fuck is thinking different?
Right.
Yeah. And so that's why I think it's such a problem to have like communism and socialism, because it's a lack of information, and on top of that, it's a lack of journalism, massively, because you need that level of control, or at least that the only level of control that we've been displayed in communism and socialism.
Right.
Which is fucked. Isn't that interesting how we lost information for almost 1,000 years and we were basically dumb as shit?
Dumb as fuck, bro.
The world's bookkeeping burned down is basically like how you.
Which is why the Renaissance is called the Renaissance. It's the rebirth of knowledge.
Right.
It's the rebirth.
It's kind of insane.
That's so beautiful, bro. Humans, like, we're so adaptive to like whatever the fuck you throw.
Bro,
at
the
us,
Black
like,
Plague
literally.
was insane.
Yeah, the Black Plague killed so many people.
Oh my god, it killed like I think like a third of Europe or something.
Yeah, a third. If I'm not mistaken, almost 50 million people.
Jesus fuck.
At
and at the time,
million bodies like that.
Yeah. No, it was called the Black Death, and so if you got it, you were on the streets.
Out.
Nasty.
And think about like the corpses and like the smell in the streets. It's rough. You know,
so we have it pretty good right now, I would say, right?
Yeah,
things are pretty nice.
I would say like not the worst.
Yeah,
for sure.
fuck. COVID times are tough, but they're not that fucking bad.
Right.
It puts things in perspective for us, right?
You know what's really interesting that I thought about the other day?
What?
Or I read, it's we are the universe experiencing itself.
It's true.
It's kind of fucking crazy.
We are the universe experiencing itself.
Yeah, because it's happening real time.
And then I think like, all right, how mind-boggling is that concept? Then how many other concepts that we can't even imagine are happening right now?
It's happening.
Right?
Dude, you literally hit the nail right on the head. I think about that all the fucking time.
Yeah. Like,
and it trips me out because I'm like, what am I supposed to care about? Like, am I really only supposed to care about the small circle, myself, the bigger good of things? Like,
there's so many theories. Like we have like infinite realities. Like this isn't even like the base reality.
You know why I like
we're
this?
all in a simulation, and it's possible.
You know why I like
simulation? Super heavy, possible.
Like, why I like these types of conversation is because, like back to what I wrote today, it's about finding fulfillment in your life. Like how, since we don't know, like we actually don't, in a sense, like we don't know what happens. Therefore, after death, we don't know what's happened 1 billion years ago that gave us consciousness. Like we don't know what existence truly is yet. And you could say it could be to please a Judeo-Christian God. It could be to please Muhammad. It could be to please this and that. You could follow the religion course to give your life purpose and meaning. And if you're following that course and it brings you fulfillment, go ahead, live your life however you want. But if you don't have that, and then you need other concepts to live your life, or you want to live your life in a fulfilling way, I feel like it's the journey. Like figure that out.
For sure.
It's just figure it out because we don't fucking know. It's happening right now.
All right, let me give you a scenario. Ready?
Yeah.
So you can either live your current reality, right? Where like any big mistake is extremely permanent. Anything you do, like whatever, like basically reality. Or you're given a choice where anything you ever want in life, you get to live in a simulation, and it feels and looks and except mentally you just know that it isn't. But you live your dream, whatever your dream is. You could be a rock star. You could like do anything ever. Like you're boundless in like terms of that reality. Would you rather live there? Like, all right, have you guys seen the end of Naruto?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, literally that. Like what Madara is trying to do. Like
Infinite
to them, they're
Tsukiyo.
like, oh my,
No.
I'm fulfilled as a human. Like
yeah,
this
no, the
is
minute
like
you said like that, no.
But think about it though. Like, was he even wrong?
But which is
Like,
why he's such a good
everybody-
villain.
It's like
Oh my
Thanos.
God.
It's like the whole Thanos
Yeah.
Theory. Like
I don't know because
Thanos
he's
almost
still
makes you love him.
bro. This guy had. All right, fuck Thanos because you're telling me you had the power of a literal god, and the only solution you had to fucking hunger was to kill them. Get the fuck out of here. There's no way. You couldn't have like transferred the population. You couldn't. There's nothing else you could have done. Like your only thing is like, yo, I gotta kill everybody.
Yeah, he
I
kind of
ran
did it.
through it. You had the time stone. You could have ran through every unlimited scenario. You had the reality stone. You had everything. And the only scenario was to kill everybody.
I get that, but if he would have done it in a very peaceful way, then he wouldn't have the hardest bar of all time. And that was when he was sitting down in Endgame, puts the thing down, and he looks at the Avengers and goes, "You couldn't live with your reality, so now
You
it
can live with
still
your own
led-
failure.
and
right?
it still led you to."
And where did that bring you? Right back to me.
No, he was dropping one-liners.
Oh my god! And when he's like, "I am inevitable,"
Yeah, I am inevitable. No matter what reality you're looking for me.
I come right.
And
Yep.
somebody made that shit. Someone made that movie. That came from someone's head. Isn't that mindfucking?
Shout out to Stanley.
The one that kills me with Thanos
Isn't that fucking crazy?
is the quote where as long as there's ones that knew of once was, there can never be ones that will accept what it's come to be or whatever.
Yeah.
Damn.
So basically saying like everyone has to go. Like and basically like just motherfuckers clinging to the past too much. Like
Damn.
Thanos was just so goddamn inspirational.
He was a good villain because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, the concept is this. We're destroying each other. What's the solution? He came up with one. Nobody agrees with it, but he was like, I think this will work.
But there has to have been something else though. Like think about it. You have the power of everything. The only solution can't be to make the people disappear. Like literally, you could have had like parallel universes to test it out. Like you could have done so much.
To answer your question, at least for me, like since we're just ironically talking about Thanos, he almost had like the simulation where everything went like the way he wanted to, and look how miserable he still was.
Yeah.
I
Damn.
feel like as human beings, like I would need to read a couple of my old psychology books or something, but I feel like somewhere, like if you had like life just play out for you however you wanted, I feel like a part of you would never just truly be fulfilled.
Why are we like that? Why are we like? Why is it weaved into our DNA that we need to suffer?
So check it out. It's based
need
on
some
desire. So
Desire?
if we had every single thing we've ever wanted, we would be unsatisfied.
Is that what happens with like child stars?
That's what happens with everybody in a sense, because at the same time,
Facts.
like you get money, right? You get money and then you buy things and then you want more things because those things aren't really enough because
Right.
it's just things.
Yeah.
So you look for love and then you can't find love because it's really hard to find someone to trust you when they see you as something else than a person.
Yep.
So it's a thing based on desire. So if we got every single thing we've ever wanted, if we got money, if we got women, if you got connection, like if you got everything, then what are you looking for? You see, life is about meaning. So you're putting meaning into everything you do because you're earning the things you want, because you're looking for the things you want to strive for, right? Like if you want love and deep connection, then fuck, you need to work on being in a healthy relationship, saying no more often to people. Like we're fucking great friends. We've had some uncomfortable conversations, but we've had some true conversations. No,
Right.
if we were just pleasing each other,
This goes back to what I was saying, like at the
exactly,
beginning.
accountability.
Damn. Right.
Which is, if we got everything we've ever wanted all the time, we would not be satisfied. To answer your question, I wouldn't want to live in a simulation because of that reason. You need the bad to appreciate the
But
good
then-
always.
Okay. Fair. Good argument. I'll play devil's advocate a little bit.
The
what
Matrix
about-
is kind of dope though.
Oh my god, it's almost becoming like a true. It's like weird, but in that argument, right?
Yeah.
all the people that are currently suffering that may not have a really happy and fulfilled life because of like circumstances completely out of their control will have a like fruitful life. Because now in that simulation, you designed it so that way, like that person can enjoy it.
You know what's the solution?
Tell me.
Make everybody rich. Like legit, give everybody money. Give everybody that one thing that people like so often look for in society. Give everybody money, and then see what people really want in life.
True, but then I think that the whole point of being rich is that you have more than other people, and then that like buying power lets you to like do whatever it is you want.
Like,
And
think
by,
about it.
Giving everybody that, it like defeats the purpose of it.
Like, think about it. Why do you want to be a rock star? Or why do you? Is it to express the music? Is it to express the passion? Is it for money?
I have a theory that most people who want to be a rock star without like having a passion for music first want it for like the fame and the money.
Yeah.
In that order.
So that's why I think the solution is make everybody rich, because then they're truly doing what they want. When they don't have to work for money, then you start seeing what people actually want in life. In a sense.
Well, then you
If
ask
they
the
haven't
question.
started that journey already.
Then you ask the question like, if money didn't exist, what would you do?
If money didn't exist, I'd just be walking around traveling the world. Legit, that's all I care about. I want to like legit explore this world with people I love, eating amazing, delicious food.
And all right, you can do it in simulation, and you wouldn't.
No, because it's not realistic. Like in the simulation, me knowing that that is a simulation, it almost defeats the purpose of the simulation for me. This one's kind of fun because if this is a simulation already, because people have this concept all the time, like, oh no, this is a simulation.
I mean, it
be-
feels
I
good.
believe, I believe it is.
Right.
What pisses me off about it is that I'm not being told that it is. I almost feel like this whole shit is a simulation, and I feel like once you kind of unlock, like, hey, maybe I'm on to you, motherfuckers. They should give you like the next key, and you
True.
don't get it. It's annoying.
What
True.
would you pick? Because you sound like you would pick the simulation.
I think I would at least give people the option.
Okay.
Because, like, fuck, imagine you're going through, like, the worst time ever. And you can choose to, like, come out of that. Now, here's where I guess it gets interesting. Would you rather it feel like it's real, but you can't come back? Or would you rather just be in reality? Like, now you start playing God a little bit. And that's where it gets fucked.
Basically playing it's basically playing benevolent deity that.
Oh, how do you guys feel about genetic splicing, like before they're born?
like changing genetics on children?
Right, like, oh, before they're born, like, I want my kid to have blue eyes, et cetera, et cetera.
I feel like if I'm okay with like plastic surgery, you have to be okay with like that shit as well.
All right, I think that's where the gray area is. Then it starts getting weird. Like, for example,
We're playing deities.
oh, dude,
At this point.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
think
with
about it like
everything
this.
though.
Technology
Think about
is
it like
letting
this.
us do whatever the fuck we want, like without bounds.
right, it's insane. Like, think about it. Let's say your child, obviously, knock on wood, is going to be born without a leg, right?
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh, no. Like, your immediate or, like, instinctual choices be like, yeah, no, let's, like, make sure
Right.
that doesn't happen. Then all of the people, humans on the planet right now that are born with legs are like, are you saying there's something wrong with me?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It gets really
Like, what's wrong?
morally
Like,
gray.
you're right. Like, it's not
Yeah.
the most normal, but, like, I'm really happy.
Right.
And I relate to people who are similar to me. And then, like, that example times every birth effect.
But I
You're
think
basically, like, they're going to be extinct.
Yeah. So
yeah, because we adapt to survival, and I think it's pretty hard
we're not
to.
even-
yeah, I would say
It's
evolutionary.
weird. It's weird.
No,
Yeah,
because
we need our legs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've been fruitful for us, for our
I
existence.
feel you.
I would be okay with it in that sense. Like if it's for like birth defects, mental defects, and stuff like that already in birth, and you had the ability to change that.
But
yeah.
how would you even tell it? Like, somebody who was born a dwarf.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, are you saying there's something wrong with me?
No, I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with them, but evolutionary, just to pass on genetics and to have a healthy life as far as like physically and to actually make it longer term, then if you are a regular healthy human with no defects, then it is easier evolutionary to like pass on your genetics and in that way. So if we're talking about like the survival of the human species, I would say if tech gets us there, then we're basically already using tech in a way, because think about it. People were living, what was their life expectancy? Like 50, 40 back in the day? Like we're talking about hundreds of years ago. Look at the life expectancy now with medicine
Right.
and with knowledge. We're already getting there. You know what I mean? So what's
you.
one more stripe on the tiger, so to speak?
That was just interesting because we're saying it from, like, our perspective. From theirs, they're like,
Yeah.
I would love if there's more people like me and we're all different.
Right.
So it's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Like,
I would go with. I'm not picking the color of my kids' eyes. I'm not picking their hair. I'm not doing none of that.
You can literally, it gets weird. You can like shoot their intelligence level.
They have a lot of
like
fucking
height.
access.
Yeah, we're at that point already, huh?
Oh, dude.
No way.
Kinda
We're
weird.
already there. We're already
And then
dipping in
here's
there?
where it gets even more weird. You can do all of that, right?
Mhm.
But then who's gonna really be able to afford that? Think about it. It's gonna be an expensive ass procedure. So then now, literally, the rich get more rich because they're born smarter, faster, better. Born
In the right network,
and
with the
already in the
right
right
people.
network. Oh my god, it's
knowing all the right,
like
plugs.
SAT scores are like they're fucking zooming through them because they don't do have personal tutors, but they're like born different.
Literally born different.
Literally, imagine pumping out a bunch of Derrick Henrys.
Yeah, that would be. Actually, the first thing I thought of was what would sports look like in 100 years? Because right
it
now
even
we
the
look at
same? 'Cause,
LeBron
like-
James,
Right.
and he's a fucking like a monster.
Oh shit! And you know what's best about him? Literally, because like he's one out of how many? You know?
Exactly.
I feel like it's up to like the people to decide that shit. You know what I mean? I feel like
You
this
want to
can't-
put like the option?
yeah, you know what I mean? Like I feel like this isn't something that shouldn't be governed by government or anything like that. It should be like up to us to decide like how far we want to go with this shit. Because if you're saying you can already decide like intelligence level
All
and
of
how
it.
a sport's gonna look in this amount of time and everything, like
You see where the problem
it
lies?
can get dicey. It can get pretty crazy.
Right.
You see where the problem lies? Is there's a lot of religion in government. Like politics is just that in some way. And so I feel like, oh wait, you're going against the word of God now.
Separation of church and state in my mind is super important.
Yeah.
Super important. Yeah,
I would agree.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
I
For
agree,
real.
man. That's one of those things that is just like, no.
I think the part that fucks me up is like, so because I can't afford that, my child is now like before they even have a thought, they're born at a disadvantage.
Yep.
It's kind of fucked.
Funny enough, most children are born already, like, depending on when they're born, they're already born at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And that's coming from Malcolm Gladwell. He did the study on outliers and what makes someone successful, extremely successful,
Yeah.
and what makes someone like an expert in all these things, and then what makes someone like average at what they do.
Because
Like,
your parents.
It could start off literally from the moment you are born
Yeah.
because of the way school starts,
Yeah.
how it started like after the end date of August. Like if you're born after that date, then you have to wait a year to get into school. So now you're older already. So now you're starting off with kids that are younger, already learning information, and now you're starting school a year late.
Yeah.
So now you're starting sports a year late. Like it's a year could put you behind significantly.
yeah.
And so even there at that level, it starts off. So imagine on top of that, then you have like the selection of intelligence, body, height,
Yeah.
metabolism. Like if we get to that point, and I think we would, because we're already putting chips in pigs and shit. I think we would in the next probably 100 years.
Shout out to Elon again.
Bro.
If we were able to do that,
Oh my god, that's another one.
then I think for sure we're going to change the landscape of what evolution looks like in humans, because then we're becoming something else.
That's what I'm saying. It's up
We're
to us to
becoming something
decide that.
else.
I feel like
Yeah.
like if we want to be the X-Men. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's up to us to be like, yeah, like fuck it, let's take this next step. Like if we want to start growing fucking like another arm out of our chest or some crazy shit like that.
That's which is crazy. That's like the future. Also, isn't it wild how like you can kind of see how accurate Black Mirror episodes can get?
Black Mirror is a show that's satire, but it's not like a satire
Kinda
comedy.
creepy.
It's a satire of like life.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
Like look what we do, and look what would you do, because this is possible type shit. And so that show really draws me. Abel, I had a curiosity. You said like it was a lot of work, like making your way up in TFC, and 3 years to become a partner. Like that's a testament to your work ethic, I would say.
Appreciate it.
What's one of the things you learned along the way that has been something that you apply every single time you go into work because it was the most important thing you learned?
I would say it's a good question. I would say like a couple realizations that I've had is a lot of people like aren't as outlier in terms of smart. And what I mean by that is like they aren't as crazy adept, intelligent as you would think they are, right? Like I'm talking a lot of like business owners that I see, a lot of people who have made millions of dollars aren't as crazy smart as you would think they are, but they take action.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I've met a lot of people who are really rich and they're like, I have no what the fuck I'm doing.
The money's just coming in though.
Literally, they're just doing, and that's like a really big one. But one thing that I practice every day, I would say, is
Thank you for making that distinction, by the
Yeah.
way.
Oh
I
my
really
God.
appreciate that.
oh my god, it happens all the time.
It
Like,
gives me a lot of faith.
Same.
Yeah. Thankfully, it gives me a lot of faith.
Like
Stupid
even
motherfuckers can get on,
dude, and I'm talking about like, I don't want to like obviously, like I don't want to talk down on them, but I
No,
would just
right.
say that they don't comprehend things as quickly as everybody in this room, for example.
Yeah.
And I would say the only thing that they have like consistently is that they'll take action, and then they're just not afraid to like do it. Like, oh, I gotta go to this place to get my LLC. They're like, all right, I guess I'm going tomorrow.
It's just putting your foot in the
Right,
front door.
literally, and then just like doing it and doing it and doing it, etc. And then not giving up when it gets hard is also a big one. But I guess to directly answer your question is definitely not underestimating how important to be respectful to one another is.
Yeah.
Like I'll have days where I'm either extremely stressed or I'm in a bad mood, whatever, and then I have like team members, and if I lash out at them, it's like, even though at the moment I'm like, oh fine, I like released that emotion, because I like lashed out, it like ends up having like negative ripple effects. So one thing that I try to be conscious of every time is like how I'm explaining things, and trying not to mix like personal and or like previous history with like that situation. Kobe was like a big one who like practiced some of this. He said, like he would have just finished playing a game, right? Like he's physically exhausted, but his kids want to play with him. And he said the easy thing to do is like, yep, I'm just gonna, like, I'm tired. I have the perfect excuse. I can go to sleep, but like that's not his kid's fault.
It's true.
So he like finds the energy to like still be with them. So like I try to find the words and the energy to like maneuver around like just trying to lash out. That's like at least something I try.
Why do you lash out a lot? I can't imagine you like lashing out.
Yeah, for real. It was such
It's
a
tripping me the hell out.
I wouldn't say lash out. I just I would say I'm direct sometimes.
yeah.
But like if we're trying to like maneuver, I'm like, all right, what is it? Like what is it exactly we're trying to do? And let's like stop the bullshit. Like what's going on? And then let's like try to get as close to the truth as possible so we can try to solve it or whatever it may be. But I don't lash like, oh, you fucking stupid ass pussy.
You
ass,
just cut to the chase and you're very
Right.
direct. So it's less like personable.
Like for example, something that'll happen is like they're like, hey, good morning. I'm like what do you need? Like that would be an example of like where I like go too direct. I'm like,
Right.
we're all
Yeah.
human. Let's like talk to each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great life advice, I would say.
It's hard though, because when things get tough, you just gotta like know that one, it's not that other person's fault, and two, you being in a negative state of mind will only make it worse.
Yeah.
And trust me, it's hard, but it's like the only way I've seen it like happen.
You hate the small talk, man. That's what it sounds like.
Sometimes it depends like what I'm doing.
I feel like when you're clocked in, you hate it.
Sometimes, I mean, if there's really important, like for example, Black Friday weekend,
Yeah.
we're like about to like launch and do a bunch of things, and it's like if it's 9 p.m. on a Tuesday, and you're like, yo, like somebody's walking up into my office and they're like, hey, have you seen this new Yeezy release? It's not that I'm not interested, right? I'm just like, just give me a sec.
Preoccupied,
Like,
yeah.
no, but like, I'll let you know in a bit. Because then what I'll find out happens is that if I pretend to carry that conversation, then I am almost disrespectful to the person that's there because I'm not paying attention.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, it's not that I don't care. I want Yeezys right now. But it's just the time and place of things. And I struggle a lot because I try to be the nice guy, but then I also feel like shit when I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. There's like a happy medium in there somewhere.
The finest of lines that I like, that gets blurred every time I try to walk on it.
How would you say is one of the best ways you manage stress in the workplace, out of the workplace?
Yeah, so being able to know when you can disconnect is like a big one. Another big one is like, okay, if you're stressed, it's either because of a problem that either hasn't yet been solved or a situation that you haven't yet confronted. So being able to like distinguish, like, are you stressed or is it the situation stressing you? And that's another one, like making sure you're like eating, drinking water, like just basic human biological needs will shift your moods. Like I don't know, like I feel like hangry is a thing. Like it
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah, you
Um,
can't work well if you're like sleepy, hungry. Like that's
right. All of
terrible
them,
for
it's
you.
like right. So take care of your like human biology for sure. Disconnect. Like you need to have a sense of community somewhere. So like whether you're like going to church, whether you're going out with your friends, hanging out with your girlfriend, whatever it is, like do that, but like be there too.
Yeah.
And being present in those moments are like super important.
I was gonna ask you about presence of mind because what you're saying is a lot of presence of mind. Like you try your best to be present in the moment. You know, do I have the time available to connect with this person about what they're talking to me about, or is it something right now in my mind that's gonna derail me from that work, etc.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask because what you're saying is like a lot of like self therapy, in a sense, and meditation. Like, do you practice those things, or do you believe in those things?
100% believe in them. I don't practice them as much as I would like.
Yeah.
I would also say one thing for stress is like just try to solve whatever is stressing you as quickly as possible. Like another thing is procrastination will only kind of ignite that fire, like turn that ember into a fire per se. So like if you know you have something due or you have a 5-page essay, like just go do that essay and like tackle it and try not to distract yourself because then you'll feel better once that situation's either been resolved or confronted. And that's a big one.
Why do you feel like a lot of people procrastinate on things like that? Because I
I
feel like that's the norm.
Well, for one, it stems from not liking what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because for example, a lot of people like won't procrastinate if they're like genuinely enjoying what they do, which is why like it's a big lesson into like what I've learned throughout this year, which is like there's a lot of subtle things that happen as you work in a business that like you can either force yourself to do them every single day or because you love them you'll do them naturally, and then that like want versus have to makes the difference into being successful or not in my mind. um so like you'll put off things that you don't want to do,
Yeah.
or you feel like you have more time, or you like put it onto your future self, and then it's not even the best kind of quality work. But there's like a lot of theories about them, but in my mind, it just mostly stems from not wanting, not like enjoying what you want to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
So yeah.
Before TFC, what was something that happened to you that made you better for your role at TFC as a partner? What would you say is an experience that you relate to in a sense that was like, okay, this, and it could be school or it could be something that just like you did in life. What's something that prepared you for your role now as a partner at TFC?
So I would say understanding the value of like being humble, right? Like a lot of
Love
people,
that.
yeah, like a lot of people be like, oh, I'm at a certain age, so I need to be at a certain place, or I have done X thing, which means I need to at bare minimum be at this floor almost. But there's understanding that you can generally learn from a lot of people, and then not being like, oh, either because you're my same age, I can't learn from you, or because you have never done what I've done, I can't like extract gold nuggets from you. So just understanding like being humble in those scenarios like help a lot, and then people want to show and trust you and like do things for you because like they like you as a person as well. So I would say that was like a really big one for sure.
That's fucking amazing advice.
I appreciate it.
That is solid advice for living life, I think, like and working with people. I feel like we're going to be working with people for the rest of our lives in some way, shape, or form, and that's something big to understand. I would say you have to be humble in this journey
Yeah, it's
because you might get knocked down on your ass, man.
another thing I've learned is like what you said, like working with people and knowing that you work with people. So like a lot of things can be miscommunicated, especially in the workplace when you text versus call somebody that same message.
Yeah.
And like perception is reality. So how they receive it is how they perceive it, and then how they like react to other things, which turns that into reality, right?
Beautiful distinction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's super important. So then, um, one struggle or one thing that like the world experienced was like being forced to go virtual in terms of like work from home, Zoom, Google Hangout meetings, things
Yeah.
like that, or like even though like it's easier to be like, hey, do this thing versus like calling and be like, this is what we need to do, etc. So like not undermining the value of like human connection even when you're like working with people.
That's beautiful, man.
How did the business change for you guys, like with this whole thing? Like
It
with
was
COVID, like everything going
yeah.
digital and everyone going home.
Yeah, so I mean it was honestly it was pretty interesting. Um we still want well we still would like to have people in the office, but obviously it's not a possibility. Um it was just a lot of operational changes that you have to like go through. And then just being adaptable and like having momentum on your side and not essentially letting anything like happen to you. And even though you can be perfectly right and have every excuse to be like, yep, this is why it didn't happen, not even letting that excuse like be the reason why it happened. Um, and just being able to like persevere through like whatever it is. Um, Business wise, I mean, it was pretty interesting because the world moved digitally, so did people's shopping behaviors.
Yeah.
So that only enhanced like what we did. Like people valued e-commerce more, and then
Right place, right time.
right, it just happens to be like, oh shit, this is like exactly what we do. Now it's just a matter of like internally being able to like work together without ever like speaking to each other or like even feeling each other's energies. That's like a really important one.
I love that you brought that up because I wanted to ask you, like, did you notice more of a problem there, like